Hello again. Welcome to another lesson in Algebra 1. Today we are covering section 5.1, writing linear equations in slope-intercept form. All right, so for our warm-up, we have a review on function notation. So we've done a little bit of this in class already, but we're just going to remind you what you've learned, okay? So a linear function can be written using the function notation by letting f of x take the place of y. This results in a function called f, okay? So y equals mx plus b could be translated into maybe something like this. F of x equals mx plus b. Okay, so the symbol f of x takes the place of y, and it can be read two ways. The real way to read it is the value of f at input x, but most people just say what I've been saying, f of x. So f, the function f when x is the input. Okay, this does not mean f times x. Those parentheses are showing that the input is x, not that we are multiplying the output f by an x, okay? You can use other letters to describe f. It doesn't have to be f. It could be g or h or m or whatever you feel like, all right? So here's some questions on this that we've done before in class. So evaluate the function h of x equals negative 7x when x is equal to 7. So this says, what is the output of this function h if the input is 7? So I rewrite it like this. What's the output for h with an input of 7? So I plug in 7 for the input. Negative 7 times 7 makes negative 49. So that's the h value when the input is 7. Okay. Number 2, evaluate the function g of x when x is equal to 3. So I'm going to put what's the value of g when the input is 3? So this is negative 2 times 3 plus 4. Which is negative 6 plus 4 for negative 2. Okay? So input 3 makes the output g be negative 2. Okay? Number 3, for the function f of x equals 2x minus 10, find the input, the x part, so that the output, the f part, is 6. So this just says, make the output be 6, tell me what the input is. So we have to solve a two-step equation. So 16 equals 2x and x is 8. Okay, so the input is 8. Number 4, for the function n of x equal to negative 1/2 x minus 3, find the input x so that the output n is negative 6. So we want our output to be negative 6, and we solve for the input. Okay, so we take the n, replace it with negative 6, and then we solve the two-step equation. So add 3 to both sides will give us negative 3 equals negative 1/2 x. And then divide both sides by negative 1/2 will make positive 6. So the input 6 would have made an output of negative 6. All right, this completes the first page, so let's flip it over. Okay, on the second page, graph the following functions. We have g function with the input x, and it's equal to negative 2x plus 4. All right, so in this case, we can do the same stuff we've been doing. Our slope is negative 2 over 1, and the y-intercept is 4, except this case it's a g-intercept. So this is our x, that's our input, and our output is g, okay? So we label our axis, the x-axis and the g-axis. And then we plot our g-intercept, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. And then our slope is negative 2 over 1, so that says from this point, go down 2 and right 1 to get new points. And then you could fill in the whole grid, okay? All right, so then we get this. And we write g of x equals negative 2x plus 4. All right, part B, same kind of thing. This time the input is x and the output is f. Our slope is 2/5, and our f-intercept is negative 6. So I take the negative 6 and I plot it on my grid. Okay, and then we use a slope of 2/5. So from the negative 6, I go up 2 and right 5, and then up 2 and right 5. And then we write f of x equals 2/5 x minus 6 on here. All right. And we have our nice graph. All right. Number 2 down here, write an equation of a line that has the given information. So we know our slope is 6, so that means our m is 6. We know our y-intercept is 5, so we're writing an equation where y is the output. We'll let x be our input. And remember, the slope always has to go with x because the variable changing is what makes it get a steepness value. And then the starting place is 5. So we write y equals 6x plus 5. All right. Number 3, the slope is 1/2 and the y-intercept is -3. So once again, we're still plugging into y equals mx plus b here, and we're just replacing m with 1/2 and replacing b with -3. So y equals 1/2 x minus 3. Okay. Graph, what's the equation of a line that goes through the point 0, 4 and -7, 9? Okay. So we want it to go through 0, 4 and -7, 9. So we need to find our slope first. So write our equation, we need to find the slope. So we're going to do 9 minus 4. And on the bottom is -7 minus 0. 9 minus 4 is 5. -7 minus 0 is just -7. And then we also need to know our y-intercept. But our y-intercept is given to us in this problem. 0, 4 is the place where our line would cross the y-axis. So our y-intercept is 4. So our equation is going to go like this. Y equals -5/7 x plus 4. Okay? And remember, we put it in here because this equation we're writing in slope-intercept form. So the m is -5/7 and the b was +4. All right, so if you take a look at number 5, you should be able to find the y-intercept. That's 0, 11. So my b is 11. And then the slope I'm going to calculate using those 2 points. So I'm going to do 11 minus 2 and 0 minus 2. 11 minus 2 is 9. 0 minus 2 is -2. So this is actually reduced fraction already. So I'm going to write my equation now. In place of m in my y equals mx plus b formula, I am going to put -9/2. And then I have -9/2 x. And then in place of b, the y-intercept, I'm going to put 11. So here's my equation, -9/2 x plus 11. All right. Write an equation for a linear function f with the values f of 0 equal to 5 and f of 4 equals 17. So this means when the input is 0, the output f is 5. And this one down here means when the input x is 4, the output would be 17. Okay? So here I can see my f-intercept, which is 5. It comes from this point right here. 0, 5 is going to be on our f-axis. And then we can calculate the slope. We're going to do 17 minus 5 on the top, 4 minus 0 on the bottom. 17 minus 5 is 12. 4 minus 0 is 4, so 12 divided by 4 is 3. So I'm writing my equation. It's going to be f of x equals mx plus b because we have the function f this time. And in place of the m, I'm putting 3. And in place of the b, my f-intercept in this case is 5. So here's my equation. F of x equals 3x plus 5. All right. Our last page, we have one extra question here on the top. Write an equation for a linear function g with g of 0, -2, and g of 8 equal to 4. So we have these two ordered pairs, 0, -2, and 8, 4. The input x is 0 makes the output g of -2. And the same thing here. The input x makes the output g. Okay? All right, so once again, we have our g-intercept. That's -2. And then we can find our slope. Our slope, we're going to do 4 minus -2, the change in the outputs, divided by 8 minus 0. So this is going to be 6 over 8, which is 3/4. So our function is going to say g of x equals 3/4 x minus 2. And that completes it. All right. Our follow-up here, you have a couple extra questions on practice. Should be very similar to the ones you've seen in the notes already. The key is down at the bottom, but you need to have a little bit of work to show me where it's coming from. Please make sure that if you're having trouble doing this, you go back and re-watch the notes a little bit and make sure you really understood and weren't just writing down stuff, okay? I'll see you next time in class.